Designed from the ground up, the D'Addario Backline Gear Transport Pack is the ultimate solution for players on the move. With more than 8 specialized storage and transport compartments built right in, it makes getting everything to the gig painless and intuitive.
Right on. Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Perry with Premier Guitar here in Nashville, Tennessee, with another rig rundown. Today we have Teenage Wrist. Marshall, how are you, man?
Dude, I'm doing great, man. How are you doing?
Man, hanging in there. I wish we could be doing this in person. I normally would be in LA right now for NAMM, but of course, that's not going to happen for a while.
No, probably best that, a bunch of sketchy musicians aren't all like in one place at the same time. Plus, you would have to cram yourself into this tiny little rehearsal space that we have. So, it's COVID, the silver lining. You gotta try and find it.
It's cool not dying. I kind of like that. Well,
pretty sick so far.
Right? So Teenage Wrist has a brand new record that literally just came out, Earth is a Black Hole. Super, super sick. If I'm not mistaken, you were playing Yellow Belly, the latest single, on the way in, right?
That's the one, man. Yep, that's the latest one that just came out on Tuesday, and it's my favorite one.
Man, it's really, really good. Your use of chorus is like probably my favorite in the past couple of years. I grew up in the 90s.
Thanks, man.
I grew up in the 90s, so sometimes chorus could be a lot, like too much.
There was a lot of it,
yeah.
And I actually used to have the small clone pedal that everybody uses. It's like the Kurt Cobain pedal, but I finally found one, a chorus that I fucking love and doesn't like quite sound like any of the other choruses that I always hear. And our producer Colin Britton turned us onto that one. It's and I'll show you in a little bit. It's the DoD FX65. I'm pretty sure that's an 80s pedal, but I'm not sure exactly what generation it's from.
I've noticed when listening to your record, it's like probably one of the most distinct choruses I've heard. It's a good one for sure.
Yeah, and it's stereo too. So and I finally get to use it to its full potential. And yeah, glad you like it.
Yeah, man. Well, so in the past, I think I've only seen you with like Fender style guitars, like Strat style stuff. Is this your number one that you're playing right now? Is this what your go-to guitar would be?
This is currently my number one. It shows up most on the record as well. This is something we got in the middle of last year from Fender, the Ultra Strat. So pretty brand new, actually. The blue version. It's got 2 single coils and this humbucker on the bridge, the little zebra guy. And they're all the noiseless pickups, and I got to say what it lacks in like a little bit of classic Strat character, it makes up for in like creaminess and obviously noiselessness, which is super cool for live stuff. It's amazing. I fire it up through this double amp rig I've got going, and it's still there's like no hum at all, which that's important for me.
Oh yeah, that's wild.
Yeah, you can tap this pickup as well here, which is super clutch. So that becomes a single coil, and I'm told that they're double wrapped. So what that does, I guess, is you lose or you don't lose any of the volume with the normal like coil tap situation.
If you coil tap that humbucker, does it give it more of a traditional like Strat bridge tone?
Yeah, and actually that's what it's on right now. So. Here, I'll show you the difference.
Yeah.
So that's the clean tone. That's with the coil tap. That's without.
Yeah, it does kind of Yeah.
Does make it brighter, but the volume doesn't go anywhere. It's pretty sick.
Right. Well, I noticed you have a capo on that guitar. Are you guys changing tunings throughout the set quite a bit, or could you do the whole set with one guitar?
Yeah. Oh. I could probably do, oh god, like 70% of the set with one guitar, but that was the old days, and now we've got a new record. There's probably 3 or 4 songs on the new record that do have the capo on fret 2. That just kind of like opened up a whole new world for me for some reason on this record. I just got so bored of like standard tuning and drop D, and then on Counting Flies we had a lot of stuff in D standard and drop C, so that's the only guitar switch we used to have, but now I'm rolling with 3 guitars because every time you put a capo on something, it like the tuning gets just ever so slightly fucked, and I use a lot of open strings, so I gotta just bring another guitar into the mix. So touring on the new record will be like kind of a nightmare gear wise, but it's all good. We're just leveling up,
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. When you're not on this spanky new Strat, what else are you playing?
So this guy over here to my left is it's my signature model, but it's the one that everybody like kind of asks about and is tripped out about because it seems like it's pretty rare. It says nothing is cool on the headstock because nothing is cool except this guitar. But it's an Ibanez Roadster 2. I believe the year is 81, and I inherited this from my dad. It's a hand-me-down. And it was also the first guitar that I ever owned. And I decided somewhere along the way that this single coil pickup, oh, thank you. I'll swap you in a second. That the single coil pickup that used to be here was just not enough gain for my 16-year-old metal ass. So we threw an Invader in there.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's so cool that your dad gets to see you play shows with that guitar, man. That's rad.
Yeah, he gets to see me destroy this guitar. But I'm sure it's fun for him.
Yeah, I've seen you play that guitar in a music video, and I was like pausing it, trying to figure out what was on the headstock because I couldn't quite make it out, but it obviously wasn't a Fender, So I was like, "What the hell is he playing there? What is that?"
Yeah, it's kind of an outlier. It's kind of a weird one, but yeah, everybody always asks about it. For some reason, like everyone, like there's some people out there that were like kind of giving me a little shit, like, "Oh, it's an Ibanez," so. Which I don't get because like I've had nothing but great experiences with Ibanez, but yeah. So I just decided to tape over it and be mysterious about it, and so people would stop talking shit on my awesome guitar.
Hey, tell those people to fuck off. Who cares? Guitars are guitars, man. Well, right on.
That's right.
So I guess before we move on, one of the questions I have is, how much of the gear that you play live was on the album? Because the album it's huge. I mean, it sounds so fucking big. So is most of that stuff making it into your live set as well?
No, actually this, it used to be that way. Like a lot of the heavy lifting on some of the earlier stuff like Dazed and Chrome Neon Jesus, that was a lot of this guy over here, the orange Rockerverb 50.
Love that amp. Oh.
Yeah, it's so rad, and the high gain channel is nice and creamy, and it's just, pretty unmatched for what it does. But it kind of only does that one thing, and the clean channel is like, it's cool, but it's not what I wanted. So with this record, we kind of opened it up a little bit, and a lot of what's on the record is a Plexi, a Marshall Plexi. I don't remember the year or anything like that, but it's that, and it's the Friedman Brown Eye makes an appearance a lot.
Nice.
Which is, it's just basically a Marshall. It
Right.
does the same thing. So I reverse engineered it this time. I decided I was gonna get an amp for whenever the touring cycle comes back. that would match the tone on the record, as opposed to going the other way around. So so I got a JCM 800, which it's not a plexi, but also the plexi thing is you have to crank it to make it worth a shit, and the JCM 800 is a nice in between.
Yeah, I've always kind of thought of an 800 as like the perfect rock and roll amp, man. It does the damn thing.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
It's a classic. And also this guy is a 1987, and that's the year I was born.
Oh.
So it was meant to be. I also just
totally meant to be.
Gave away my age.
So
it's a good year.
Yeah, man. So you're running that 800, but I know that you're running in stereo. Are you doing like a dual amp setup?
Oh yeah. I don't currently have the AB switch that I want to have going, but it does allow me to run both my stereo chorus and my stereo reverb actually in stereo, which is something I don't normally do on tour because we're only able to travel with so much gear.
Right.
So I usually just go with one amp. But yeah, the DAD, the DAD FX 65 is stereo, and the Blue Sky Strymon is also super stereo and sounds much better in stereo. So yeah, now I'm able to kind of bring that to life, and fuck man, it just opens it up so much.
Dude,
it's crazy.
It gives it that wall of sound kind of vibe. I think once you start playing a stereo rig, going back to a normal mono rig is like, it just sucks, like.
Oh, dude, it's so unsatisfying. I've done it a couple of times now, just gone between each amp to kind of isolate, and I'm like, fuck. I don't think I can ever go back.
No, it's like with a mono rig you can hear it, but with a stereo rig you can fucking feel it or something, It's a different monster.
Oh yeah, and they're two wildly different amps too. So I feel like it's worth it to have, because you see some people that got just two plexis on stage, and you're like,
well,
all right, that's obviously just for balls on stage. But this actually kind of, in my mind at least, it serves a purpose. You get the beef from the 800, and then you get the nice creamy mid-range stuff from the orange.
So are you sending these stereo effects at the same time, or are you sending some effects to one amp and some to another, or?
They're all the same right now. One of the ideas I had was run all the fuzz through one amp and run all the chorus through another amp. That's actually what we did on Counting Flies for Mary and Believe in the Wrong Things. That was kind of the idea. Our producer Matt Hyde engineered that whole idea, and it worked really well. I haven't tried it live yet, but I would like to. But yeah, for right now, it just kind of makes sense to, so everything is stereo, to just, run everything to both amps.
Totally. So, I mean, an 800 and a Rock Reverb 50 together, I've never actually A-B'd them, but now that I'm thinking about it, that's a pretty fucking awesome mix, because you're right, the Rock Reverb is very mid-rangey, while that 800 kind of has it's warm. It's got, and it can have teeth if you really wanted to. Are you running any kind of dirt? Are you running dirt into either of those?
Yeah, actually. So, I mean, I'm letting the pedals do most of the work here, but the 800, if you want to go over there and look at the, the gain section over there and the volume. I mean, I'm on the low gain setting, but it's cranked. The pre-gain is just
right.
It's literally on 10. So that's where all the punch is coming from. But then if I want to go, and it's relatively clean, so I'm not running any real pedal dirt or anything like that, just amp gain pretty much for the clean tone. But then over here, I'm just gonna check out my pedal board here. My classic regular ass dirt comes from the BB preamp over here. I'll give you a little sample of that guy. And here it is without the fun stereo chorus. So that's the combo that like I use the most live. Probably it's nice and clear. It's it's almost kind of fuzzy because of that orangey mid-range thing that's happening, and I'm pushing it pretty hard.
Right.
But it's still super clean. Yeah, so that's like my main, I guess, dirty channel.
So is that BB pre something that you leave on like all the time, or is that coming in and out depending on the part in the song?
No, that's essentially, I mean, that's my distortion channel.
Gotcha.
Basically. That's my one like boost, and then aside from that, I've got the fuzz pedals, and they can kind of only like all the fuzz and distortion, like you can't really run two of them at once. It's kind of a one pedal at a time kind of deal.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, not sonically pleasing to have fuzzes and distortions and all that shit.
Oh God, I've tried, and I've learned the hard way that that's just not. It's not productive. This is the other Fender piece that inspired a lot of stuff. So this is the Player Series Jaguar. We got these guys in, I want to say, 2018, and it carried me through to 2019 when we did Counting Flies. And this was like just the sound of Counting Flies, basically, and it was the the time in my life where I learned how to use a whammy bar in my own sort of way, I guess. Without, being like Kevin Shields 2.0 and without being, Eddie Van Halen 2.0. I like found a middle ground in there. But yeah, I made good use of the half-step whammy thing in Earth is a Black Hole too. There's a little bit of that going on. But yeah, I'll show you what this guy does. And this is the one that's drop tuned. This one's currently in drop C.
Ooh.
And nice and heavy. Whoa. Helps if I plug it in. And get that nice little hum. Yeah, so you get the idea.
Nice.
It's heavy, it's beefy, it's jangly, it's a shoegaze guitar.
Yeah, totally. I'm actually glad you played that part because I was wondering how the fuck you were doing that on the record because I've never seen you with a whammy bar guitar.
There you go.
Yeah, that's how it sounds. So if I'm not mistaken, typically a Mustang is, or not a Mustang, but Mustangs will have like the two single coils where a Jazzmaster would have like two Jazzmaster pickups or something. But that looks like it's got a humbucker and a single coil.
Oh yeah, and this is another one where you can, do the coil tap thing. But I just need a humbucker at all times, So I always go for something with a humbucker in the bridge.
Hell yeah!
This was nice to see. Yeah.
Can we hear just the Marshall and then maybe just the rock reverb?
Absolutely. So I've got the standby on over there. Eventually I'll get the A/B switch in the mix, but let's see. All right, so here is JCM by itself.
Very cool.
Yeah, so that's the Marshall, and then I'll flip it the opposite way. Hit that standby for me. All right, here we go. And then this is just orange. And that's with the stereo chorus as well.
Right on. Yeah, I mean, both of those amps sound incredible by themselves, but stereo is so cool. It just sounds so good.
Oh yeah, it's a different game, man. Yeah, the orange, it's a little bit like, yeah, when you do A/B like that, it's like underwhelming compared to the final product.
Right.
They do sound great by themselves, but why have one when you can have two?
Right. All right, Marshall, you mentioned a couple of different fuzzes. Give us a walk through your signal chain.
Yeah. All right, so coming from this guy, we're going into this classic piece of equipment right here, the old Boss chromatic tuner. With our a little light shield, a gaff tape light shield for outdoor festivals. That does not work, and that's going into another classic Ernie Ball volume pedal. I like to do volume before all the effects, so I can kind of control the signal, going into all the stuff rather than cut it off at the end. That's especially cool for like big reverb ring outs and stuff like that. But anyway, so then it goes right to the BB. Just my little I'm just using it as a distortion pedal pretty much. So there's that guy. All right, and then this next bit here has become my favorite fuzz pedal over the past few months. I picked this up from a super cool company on the East Coast called Fuzz Roches, and it's the Heliotropic, which is it's actually a bass pedal, but it's modeled on the the Failure song, Heliotropic.
Yeah,
It's got the same name. So it's modeled after that bass tone, but it's a fucking monster guitar pedal.
Cool.
So it's kind of like a Big Muff if it were like a little cleaner.
Huh.
So
we got to hear that. I mean,
you.
I was going to say, if you've ever seen any of my rig rundowns, you know how obsessed with Ken Andrews that I am. And Failure is one of my my favorite bands of all time. And that bass tone is so fucking good. So I would love to see how it translates to guitar. I got to hear this.
Oh yeah, here it comes. So there it is, as is, and if we, I just want to show you with the DoD chorus as well, because it's just a totally different ball game. Yeah, so it's just like, fuck, it just opens up. It's so beautiful.
I did not expect a bass pedal to translate so well to guitar. That's fucking awesome.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a nice little surprise. Yeah, they sent me a couple of things. They also have a sick fuzz pedal called the Gray Stash, which is a little creamier. It's meant for guitar, but I mean, this just has so much beef on it. I love that kind of thing. I've just been chasing that that Smashing Pumpkins Big Muff Marshall fuzz my entire life, and this is the closest I've come to exactly what I want, without buying a without buying a 90s Big Muff for $600. which someday I will have, but you know.
You're the only guy playing guitar in the band now, right?
Yeah, it's just me and Anthony right now. We're just a duo, and yeah, we're kind of just wait until touring kicks back up again to like find some people to go out with. But yeah, but for now we're just we're playing with homies in LA for like the live stuff that we have coming up, which is obviously just remote. We're gonna try and film some stuff in the near future. But yeah, it's the core of the band is just me and Nino.
Right. Well, now that you have a stereo rig, I'm sure it feels a little more comfortable. In the event that you did have to like run out and play a live stream or something tomorrow, it probably wouldn't be as scary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, it fills up the room for sure. It doesn't feel like. I mean, it feels like one guitar player, but it's also just feels like a wall of amps. So yeah, it is less scary.
How much fucking around did you do with that fuzz pedal? Like, did you try a bunch of different fuzzes? Like, did you try any of the because there's like what fucking 730,000 different versions of the Big Muff, right? Like,
yeah. I mean, there's it's not just this fuzz pedal on the record. By the way, there's like there's at least 5 or 6 different ones. There's this one. The Swollen Pickle actually came in pretty sweet as well. This has been my go-to live fuzz. It's pretty clean. It's pretty punchy and mushy and yeah. So that made it onto the record as well. I mean, basically just trying to make everything sound like a Big Muff. I'm not a super fan of the super compressed, like crunchy fuzz, like the Jack White style kind of thing. I'm more of an open, pillowy blanket of fuzz type of guy.
Yeah, I totally get that.
But,
like a more shoegazy fuzz as opposed to like the Jack White, like hyper gated, spitty. Like,
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So I also have a Fuzz Factory sitting at home, but that's the only thing that the Fuzz Factory does is the the Jack White fuzz. That's not true. I mean, it does plenty of things, but this just does it better.
Cool. Is there anything else on your board currently?
Yeah. Well, I've got the Swollen Pickle, and if you want a little taste of that, I can give it to you.
Give it to me.
Yeah. Hold on. Let me drop D real quick for like
the full effect,
the ultimate. Yeah. Exactly. Got to drop D. Here it is with the chorus. Yeah, so it's quite a bit different.
Yeah, it's a different flavor, but a very, very cool one. I mean, both sound really great with that chorus.
Right? And it's not a combination you would think that would work super well, but like I'm also not when I'm playing that shit, I'm not trying to be like super articulate.
Right,
you know, I'm just going for fucking wall of shoegaze, So it works. Fucking works. Yeah, so that's the those 4 things are the main guys in my chain right now. And then I've got the Strymon reverb at the end, the Blue Sky, which is it's cool, man. It's versatile. It does the shoegaze verb thing that I want it to do.
Yeah, it definitely does that.
Really killer with the chorus. It's just post rock as fuck, Yep. So that's the Strymon's purpose, is endless reverb.
Yeah, man, that is such a killer pedal, and your use of it is interesting. To me, your tone kind of reminds me of like if Johnny Marr and the Smiths didn't sound like shit in the 80s. You know, like it sounds like that's the tone that's probably the tone that they were going for. They just didn't have the technology back then to actually do it right.
Hey, man. You know? Yeah, exactly. Modern technology, you can only sound so good in the 80s.
Totally,
and
right?
not super ass cheesy.
Man, that's a pretty Spartan, pedal board considering how much sound you're getting out of it. I'm impressed. That's cool.
It's efficient,
Yeah. How hard is that DoD to find? Like, if that thing went out on you on tour, would you be able to find another one quickly, or would that be a pain in the ass?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I found a few. It's definitely like an old pedal. Like, they obviously don't make them anymore, and it's easy to find in LA, I think. But I don't know about like if it went out on me in like middle of Kentucky, like I don't know how easy it would be to find, but it seems pretty available, and it's cheap. I mean, I got that thing for like $60, so and I also don't feel like it would be that hard to repair. If there's nothing digital in there,
right?
So yeah, I mean, it hasn't gone out on me yet.
Right. Well, right on, man. I guess before I let you go, I gotta know, like, it's gotta be fucking terrifying releasing a record during a pandemic where you can't tour. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you're gonna want to make your money back on that record. So, what's the plan? Are you just gonna do some live stream stuff, or do you guys have European tours booked or anything?
We have nothing booked at the moment. I mean, I think it's a little bit presumptuous to say that we're going to do a European tour. Like, even in May, it's like, it doesn't look like restrictions are going to be lifted anytime soon.
Right.
So, I mean, we had 2 tours that, we thought, like, we thought in March, like, oh, okay, well, we might still be able to do the tail end of this April tour. And then, obviously that was way far off. And then we thought in June that, like, we were going to be able to do this September, October tour that we were booked on. And that fell away pretty quick. So we're not expecting anything. We are planning on doing a live stream for the record release. I'm not sure if it's going to happen in tandem with the release or if it's just going to be its like standalone like live set kind of thing. But we're going to make it look cool. We're going to make it sound awesome. But yeah, no real plans to tour other than hopefully maybe we'll do a number of live stream studio type stuff, and we've got the capability too here to, like, we put out that Silver Spoon in studio thing, right, where it was like a stripped down electronic version of that song, just like doing it here. So we'll probably do some more of that type of stuff, and and just wait it out and hope that that this record is doing it for people, and it's going to have staying power and people keep listening to it. I mean, we feel that way. So I think that when touring does come back, people are going to want to see the bands that got them through this period in time, so it might actually be a blessing in disguise that we release it, kind of at the peak of like the third wave or whatever it is, and people will continue to listen to it for months, and then hopefully the timing will be just right to where they haven't forgotten about it yet, and to where they're still like super feeling it, that they'll want to come out and see us. So that's the plan.
Yeah, man, that's a really good way of looking at it, and I commend you for being responsible about it. I've seen quite a few bands release like tours, and it's like, well, really, dudes?
Yeah.
And
do you think that this is gonna go well?
Yeah, and I've gotten my hopes up like so many times already. When all of this first started, it was like, oh fuck, we're stuck in the house for 2 weeks, and that was like a year ago. So it's like, oh, okay, all right, probably best.
That was a year ago.
Yeah.
That's nuts. But I mean, if somebody wants to pay us a lot of money to go to Thailand or New Zealand or someplace where there's like not a lot of COVID running around, like we're all for it. Like let's fucking go, you know. But I don't see any U.S. or U.K. things happening for at least another. I don't even want to say it. I don't even want to put a number to it.
Yeah, who knows? Well, right on, man. Marshall, this has been a pleasure. And Anthony, thanks so much for helping out and shooting this.
Thank you, man.
This is great. If you guys have not heard Earth is a Black Hole, it's fucking sick. It sounds so, so good. And you can hear some of those rad chorus fuzz tones on that record. But you should definitely go check that out. And also subscribe to Premier Guitar for more rig rundowns, riff rundowns, video lessons, all that fun shit. Thanks a lot. See you guys soon.
Thank you, man. Take care.